Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Bold Expressions. The random thoughts segment that I won't say started doing. I've done this before, but this is just content for my YouTube page. So, random thought uh, going back to the election that we're still going through. Many have said it's for the soul of our country, for the soul of democracy, what have you. The thing is, even if Biden wins, and I saw this on Instagram, it's still too close. Even with the kids in cages, even with the way the coronavirus was handled, even with the tanked economy, even with all the racism, even with the cozying up to dictators, not just Putin, but now Kim Jong-un. Remember when he used to call him Rocket Man? He used to say all these things about him, and then just like that, they're buddies now. Remember when all that happened, where they're gonna cease all these different things, and we never heard anything about it. There was a treaty to where we gave up a lot, and North Korea didn't give up anything. After all of that, people still, just too many people voted for him. And even to think that there was a increase in votes for black men and Latino, Hispanic, what have you, people. I was actually watching something where one of the failings of the Democratic Party was that some of their language was kind of too inclusive, and this may be something I'll talk about later in another day, to where they prefer that they have much more nationality type of thing, to where we're from Puerto Rico, we're from Cuba, we're from Haiti, we're from Brazil. It's not just black people. It's like, oh, we're just black. It's like, no, there's different. We're not just Latino. We're Puerto Ricans. We're Mexican. It's different. And by just saying Latino, it's like, well, we have different. Don't just try to lump us in under one group. But they had a uptick in support for Trump. But it's just really, I don't. You would think after everything that happened that more people would have just said no. And you see some of these rappers, it's like, oh well, tax breaks, and it's just like, these tax breaks are worth everything else he was doing. And it's like tax breaks for people who got the money. And it's just, it's kind of disheartening. I know I'm sorry if this brings you down, but it is just something to think about. Like, where do we go from here? Because some people would have you think it's like, okay, Biden wins. Trying to repair the damage that he's done to the country, and hopefully push Biden further to the left, because right now he's a little bit too far right to me with some of the things that he wants. And I watched a video last night of someone who I enjoy watching, and he mentioned a thing of say the lesser of two evils. No. Most elections are about politics, a difference in policies. I voted for Obama over McCain and Mitt Romney. You know, number one, black man, historic. Number two, I favored his policies more than I favored theirs. I didn't necessarily think, oh, well, he's a better person than these people. And sometimes you do see, some people are like, I don't know what type of person you are. I don't wouldn't want to hang out with them, but you don't think they're evil. And a lot of policies that they do have, you're just like, I don't think those are good policies to go by. The way Trump has, I can't even say led America because he's not a leader. But I can't think of for lack of a better word, led. It's not about policies. It's about right and wrong. And I can't. It's hard to swallow that so many people are okay with all the wrong he's done over one policy that they may like. Or because they say, oh, well, the Democrats, they don't appreciate us. It's like, so you're saying that the Democrats don't appreciate us that much, but you will willingly go to the party that condones the issues that we say we have. They would say that we're not successful because we're lazy. It says that a woman being shot to death in her apartment, that's all legal. It's not, not just that it's legal, but that it was okay. That fights for reform for police. That think that the police deserve more respect than the people they're supposed to be protecting. From the people who keep trying to push the notion or push away the notion that they're supposed to be working for us. They're supposed to be working for our interests, not their own. People who believe in lies, because I'm not going to say disinformation. Shout out to my friend Andre. He pointed out, it's like, stop saying disinformation, stop saying disinformation. False truth, whatever. They're lying. And when you use other words besides lying, it makes it seem like it's something else. There's been some times where I've lied. I've lied by omission and just flat out. And no matter how I want to spin it, no matter how I thought about it, no matter how whatever, it's like I lied. Trump and his people lie. They lie, and then they also at the same time tell the truth, because they have been blunt about a lot of things that they feel. It's just that they, he'll say it, and then his people or, some commentators will try to say, well, he doesn't really mean that. And then he'll double down on it, and then they'll just act like it didn't happen. And we'll point to it, and then his followers will say, well, well, hey, he's just saying what we're all thinking, or, they'll give some type of excuse. And, as I said, if anything, the last, I'll say probably 15 years, whatever. With Obama's presidency and now Trump's, the best thing that's come out of it is that we're seeing a lot of true that a lot of neoliberals have this notion that, oh, racism is over. It's like, no. It's like we're seeing firsthand that it's not. We're seeing firsthand that a lot of things that a lot of people still knew what was going on and were alive and well, unfortunately. They're seeing it now too, because it's smacking them in the face. How comfortable a lot of people are with things that they know are wrong, just because they still get to be comfortable with their seat of power, or with whatever kind of power, or whatever little thing, whether it be abortion, whether it be taxes, what have you. And I don't know. Where do we go from here? Is how do we go back to people who don't recognize that the things that Trump was saying and the things he was pushing was wrong? That think, oh, it was just policy. How did we rectify that? Because as much as we want to, we can't just cut everybody off. Some people, yeah, it's probably better to just cut them off. Some people that are toxic in your life, you can forgive them. You don't have to let them back in your life. It's a little bit harder if they're family. Or maybe you just want to get them to know that you left out. Or, maybe you don't want to just automatically kick some people to the curb because, hey, maybe, that would help for them to learn. Like, how would they know better unless you're there to tell them? But at the same time, if they haven't learned by now, what else is it going to take? But besides the craziness of this election and everything that has happened, besides Trump, if anything, it's funny that this is the thing that he kept his promise on, that he would not concede. And that if there were anything less than him winning, he was going to take to the Supreme Court. He said this before. He's been saying it when people have asked him, would he concede? And he never gave a straight up answer. And we all knew what it meant. As Ashton Cooper said, he's like a turtle on his back, just, waddling. It's just, but it's, I don't know. It's kind of, I wish I could get normal, but I guess the one hopeful thing is that hopefully some people, well, the hopeful thing is that now that we see some of these people, we see their faces, we see who they are, we see what they're about, and we know how to handle them from here. And that hopefully together with those of us who do want to push things, who do actually want to push our country forward, not backwards. As I said, we can fix a lot of things, that we don't just fix the things that Trump messed up and that a lot of people allowed him to mess up, but that we don't just fix things, but we make them better too. That we hold Biden accountable, that we don't just let him slide as well. And hopefully that the Democrats will fight harder, or in some cases just fight in general, to not just take things lying down and just say, oh, well, look at them, what they're doing. It's like, no, you have the authority, you have the power to challenge these things, not just to hold hearings, but to hold people accountable. And I guess that's the thing that we're all learning, to better hold these people accountable, because they're not above the law. So Okay, so I'll leave this up. This is a longer random thought than I intended, but just something I was thinking about. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.